Welcome to the Conscious Hour. You ever wondered why we're always at war? I remember when I was a little child, I was born in 52, so 57. I was laying underneath my desk because they said the Russians were coming to get us and they could drop an atomic bomb. I was living in fear for what, a year, maybe 2 years at the most. But I learned something from my uncle, who was a B 17 captain shot down over Germany, freed by the Russians. He was at that time flying to the Middle East or West Asia. He was going to Turkey and Egypt and all these different countries, more than likely Iran also. And he told me about the world, that the Russians were our ally in World War One and World War Two. So then I went through this life experience going inside all these different federal agencies and in a foreign country and understanding this game of war. Vietnam was a lie. Every war we've been in has been a lie. But we were taught that there was this fear that somebody's going to come and get America. They always kept us in fear. And the art of war. It's a game. It's a game for the corporations so they can use their resources, our money, to go into foreign countries to steal their resources. And then they have this thing about Iran. Oh, Iran's a terrible country and the women don't have rights and all this stuff. Look at America. Look who we are. Look at the violence in our country. We have some of the highest homicide rates of any country in the world. Why? Because we aren't living in a true democracy where the people are being represented by our government and that the government's working for the people. The government works for the military industrial complex. And then you have NATO. And NATO expanded and should have never. They had an agreement in 1991 that there would be no further expansion, but they didn't care. And the American government and the CIA and Mossad, they go into foreign countries, destabilize the countries, put in their puppet dictators, or assassinate the ones they don't like. So look where we are today. We're on the verge of a potential world war. But there has to be an equation that comes up and puts it back into checkmate. So listen to what Iran has done now. Now, Iran does not have nuclear weapons. They have a nuclear program that has been producing radioisotopes, nuclear power, and that's it. They don't want nuclear weapons, but they're being pushed because Israel's got nuclear weapons, the United States got nuclear weapons, Britain's got nuclear weapons. I mean, it's like, why shouldn't they have nuclear weapons? But listen to what we have now, and this is a game changer. Maybe, maybe not for Netanyahu and the Zionists. They think they're still mighty and that they can conquer the world. But check this one out. This is Mahmoud. I highly recommend everybody watch him. He gives great updates I've been following since October 7th of 2023.
Iran now has capabilities to hit the White House directly and anywhere it wishes inside the American soil should the United States carry out a strike against Iran. Previously, the equation was if the United States did attack Iran alongside Israel or without Israel, Iran could potentially eliminate all of the American bases in West Asia or the Middle East, alongside targeting other assets that belong to the United States of America. However, in the past couple of days, this video has been published in what has been reported to be an Iranian missile test for an intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM, that has a capacity to reach 10,000 kilometers, according to several reports. Now, before we get into the resemblance of this missile and where it actually was tested, let's show you the rest of the videos that were published. There was another video on social media, this one over here, of this missile being tested. It was from Iran, from Iranian territories, going to a location that you might find interesting, Siberia. Siberia, and also in coordination with Russia. Russia, why? Well, because it really does resemble the Russian Oreshnik. Russia published several videos of its Oreshnik previously, and there is a very, very big resemblance of this missile and the Russian Oreshnik that we saw not long ago. Well, it was used in 2024 and also in 2026, very recently as well, towards the end of 2025
It's
and
really
early
beautiful.
2026. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, we do understand that this means that there's a coordination here between Russia and Iran, because the report spoke about the missile reaching Siberia in full coordination with Russia. But are there other indications that Iran was actually launching a 10,000 kilometer missile? Well, there are multiple reports, one of them in Defense Security Asia, saying that Iran claims to test a 10,000 kilometer missile, but they were quoting a figure in Iran saying that Iran 2 days ago tested something that it has never tested before, according to Mohsen Zangane, a member of the Iranian Majlis, who publicly stated, the night before yesterday, we tested one of the country's most advanced missiles that had never been tested before, and the test was successful. So,
Which means simply this, that if Trump, Netanyahu continue the escalation, Iran has sent a message. You know, this big island, Turtle Island, they call us, right? We've been protected by the ocean. Well, now the game's over. All of this could be avoided. All of it can be avoided. We don't need an arms race. What we need is a race of humanity where we finally learn that the military industrial complex we don't need. Now, hey, that's an assassination, somebody trying to get rid of all of their money that they make. They make hundreds, put it this way, they make trillions and trillions of dollars, the military industrial complexes around the world. It's this self self prophesized killing machine that could just blow the world up. But you see, they don't really want to do that. They just want to keep having enemies. So, how about we do this? How about we reboot our military industrial complex? Instead of having it building weapons of mass destruction, why don't they take all the existing technologies and innovative technologies that are sitting ready to come out and be released and go around the world and eliminate all the poverty, eliminate all the infrastructure challenges, and build a global economy where we don't have wars, where we have respect for everybody living in every country. You want money? Shift it away from a military industrial complex to a peace complex and let those companies that build these weapons of mass destruction, there's going to be a whole bunch of other technologies you can build. Or we can just keep going down this road, getting our kids, putting them in the military, having them come back in body bags, or psychologically so torn up, and the VA's defunded. They don't do anything for the vets, so we can just keep this repetitive cycle going forever and ever and ever. So, if you're interested in talking about this, the Conscious Hour has a literal plan of Reboot 3.0, but I would love to have somebody else that has the same type of vision of how we can change this old paradigm to come on the show, and let's get after it. Let's discuss what a new world order would look like based on peace and prosperity for all people on planet Earth. How about that for a concept, folks? So if you've got an idea, send me an email. My email is very simple, conscioushournow@gmail.com, conscioushournow@gmail.com. And I'll pick the one that's got one of the best ideas, invite them on the show so we can have a further discussion. Please share this. The Conscious Hour is your conscious hour. We got to make it work for the world, not for a few. That's the message, folks. Peace and love. Take care, and thanks for tuning in and share this video. And please donate. Thank you very much.